What up, y'all? Appreciate you hanging out, showing up, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So I wanted to talk about, I touched on it yesterday, or the last video, excuse me, about Sony complaining, I said, about the Microsoft Activision deal. It seems like a lot of the influencers out there are they're kind of taking what Sony said, and I don't want to say they're twisting the words, but it seems like Sony's coming off as shook or scared, if you will. And I kind of got that feeling too, but I didn't want to say that just straight out. But how they came out, because I think they were talking to a Brazilian outlet or something, blah blah blah, and they had said, oh, it's because it's not fair. No, I don't know if they said that, but it's funny because they're Sony, they got their bangers and such, right? So why are they scared? They shouldn't be scared, but they are, because they recognize that COD, Call of Duty, is a juggernaut. It's the biggest game, and the biggest thing, the biggest game just got by Microsoft. Well, officially, but it's gonna close soon, whatever, right? And so one thing that, diving more into the minutia, the past generation, the PS4 generation, Sony had the marketing deal, and they had the exclusive map, this and that and the third, right? And that was the allure of Call of Duty players. They were like, oh snap, the extra stuff's on PlayStation, let's go to PlayStation. That's why everybody went to PlayStation, right? That was one of the reasons why, among a lot of reasons. But now, COD being owned by Microsoft means that it will be on Game Pass day one. So that's like a no-brainer. It's like, yo, I don't even play Call of Duty like that, because I'm not buying Call of Duty every year, because I just whatever. I mean, I think single player is cool, and that's all I would probably play. I don't play the multiplayer, but I got Game Pass. I'm gonna play it. They're gonna have so many more players playing that game. It's gonna be ridiculous. And you know how many people are gonna sign up for Game Pass just because it's like, oh, I could just sign up for Game Pass. I get all these games anyway, and Call of Duty. It's a no-brainer. It's like Game Pass is so powerful. It's such a powerful tool. It's such a powerful ecosystem foundation that Sony tried to copy, but they didn't do it right. And they're still sticking to their guns with this no day and date stuff with their first party games. And that's the hugest mistake, because that's the one thing that they could actually compete with Microsoft with. You know what I mean? It's like all these donkey unicorns and ponies were complaining, oh, why doesn't Microsoft compete? When Microsoft competes with Sony, they get knee dropped into the neck. Microsoft knee drops Sony into the neck. Boom. It's like, oh, you tried to get Starfield as an exclusive? Oh, we bought that. Oh, because we had a nice working relationship with Bethesda. It was organic. And then they're like, Phil's just like in his office kicking his feet up. I mean, I did the Minecraft deal. We got Bethesda going good. Well, what else could I buy? Says Phil Spencer with his feet kicked up and his Argyle socks chilling. And he looked and said, WB? Nah. You know why they didn't buy WB, and they won't buy WB? It's because Microsoft wants to own the IP. They want to have original IPs that they own, control, and get all the money. They don't want to have to, pay Warner Brothers to have games. That's the conundrum that Sony finds themselves in. Their most successful game is not their game. And I swear people are dumb, because I had an argument with someone who swore that Sony owned Spider-Man. And I was like, no, Marvel owns Spider-Man. Sony has the rights to the movies. I know I said this before, but I'm like, well, how can you not understand the difference? They own the rights to make the movies. They don't own Spider-Man. They don't own the IP. Anyway, that's a whole tangent and stuff. But that's the thing with Microsoft. They don't want to be like, oh, we're going to make these deals and maybe they can make a cool, whatever, a Fantastic Four game or something, right? It'll probably be a multiplayer, like a co-op game. It has to be, because that's Microsoft's bread and butter. It's not their bread and butter, it's their identity. So it's like, of course it's going to be a freaking, co-op like Gears or something, right? So Fantastic Four would probably be a pretty good fit, not gonna lie. But, let's say they do that and the game is a hit. I mean, it's a short-lived thing. It's like, okay, you can make, maybe 3 games or something like that. And then what? You're gonna go to another IP? That's exactly what Insomniac and Sony is doing. Oh, let's grab Wolverine. And it's like, okay, that's might be okay, but Sony is losing money on these deals because they don't own the IP. They're not getting all the cash. Marvel's getting some of that cash. So is that a smart business move? It doesn't seem like it is. It seems a little weird. It seems, I don't know, it seems half-baked. But, that's why Microsoft turned down the Spider-Man deal in the first place. And people are like, oh, Microsoft made a mistake. They should Microsoft's like, nah, B, we want to have our own IPs, yo. And they have enough IP. I mean, they had enough IPs before they even were going to acquire. Well, that was actually before they acquired Bethesda and everything else. And they made the smarter move. Microsoft made the smarter move. They said, okay, we could hook up with Marvel and do that and not own the IP but make a cool game or whatever. Okay, whatever. Or we could grab a Bethesda, grab all these other studios and own the IP and have these studios to make brand new IPs and own that, get 100% of the monies. And I'm looking at the two business strategies. Sony is still on that short money game. They just want that quick money. They're not looking at the long term. I mean, they have to in a way because of the nature of the business, but that Spider-Man deal wasn't a long-term kind of outlook. If you count 10 years long-term, that's not long-term. We're talking about industry changing, industry influencing. That's exactly what Microsoft did with Game Pass. And Sony failed at that. They had the opportunity to make the first move. They made the first move and they failed at making the first move. And so it's like, okay, well, we spent $300 million for Gaikai and it sucks, so we're just gonna And what's PlayStation now right now? They totally destroyed the name, and now it's just part of PlayStation Plus because that's how bad it was. It's so bad that nobody wants it. They had to bundle it in with the successful product that they offered. So, Sony is tripping hard on many levels this generation. There's levels to this. They tripping hard, from their attitude with the day and date to the being shook about Call of Duty. David Jaffe, I just looked at YouTube 2 seconds ago, and David Jaffe's he's doing a video, I guess, or whatever, streaming. And basically he says, Sony needs to man up, stop being scared or shook or whatever, and compete. Compete with Microsoft, compete with Call of Duty. You see what happens when you poke the tiger? Microsoft wasn't playing, man. Y'all were talking shit all those years and like, all right, we got something for you, son. And then they pull out their pocketbook and like, pow, and that was it. That's how it worked. That's how it came to be. And this, we're gonna look back at this generation as the turning point where Sony lost their mojo, where they lost their identity. Their identity was single-player narrative games, right? And some would argue a little bit Japanese stuff, maybe, you know, because they're a Japanese company, whatever. But mainly single-player, sad dad simulators, whatever, narrative, movie games. They don't want to do that no more because it don't make them enough money. That's a big problem. When your identity is, you know, The Last of Us 2, and you're like, yeah, we're gonna make Destiny 12 or whatever, you know, and they've been failing at that for decades too. So, I mean, I said that before. I have little faith at Sony when it comes to multiplayer games, co-op, games of service, whatever you want to call them. They have failed. They have zero. But name the one today. Don't even mention Destruction All-Stars, because I mean, yeah, that game is still alive, technically alive, but nah, that's a big hot dumpster fire. You know? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. The Sony Curse has happened again. What game got indefinite? Oh yeah, the remake. Knights of the Old Republic. Got indefinitely postponed. Okay, first, what was the first game? I guess No Man's Sky was kind of like the first flounder on the Sony side, and then I guess we could say Destruction All Stars, a big fat L, right? It's like, what is this garbage? Yeah, and now, I mean, this is even worse because they're like, oh look, it's exclusive on PlayStation, right? Meanwhile, you might as well just call it canceled. They fired the art director and the lead designer. They fired them. They said, they probably looked at the game and was like, yeah, that's not, nope. That looks like hot trash. I bet you what they did, instead of actually doing a remake. See, this is a problem that Sony has created for themselves. I say that a lot, but it's true. With the outlook, with what they did, what they showed from The Last of Us remake, it's not a remake. I already said this, but now when another company, Aspire, that was the studio that was working on Knights of the Old Republic remake, when they do the same thing, Sony's looking at it like, nah, it's got to be better. Wait, whoa. How come Naughty Dog can do something like this, but we can't? We can't just make the graphics better and have the gameplay the same, basically? That's what The Last of Us remake is. That is what Sony has created that themselves. They should have went in and giving us language like the ground up for The Last of Us remake was a mistake. You shouldn't have said that. If you look at Demon Souls, was it Demon Souls? No, it was Dark Souls. Wait, no. What game did they remake? Demon Souls? I think it was Demon Souls, right? They remade that, right? I forgot. What, Blue Box? Excuse me. I don't remember the studio that did it, but basically it was the old code running under new graphics. And I'm like, that's the same thing they did with The Last of Us. And people are mad because The Last of Us 2 introduced new mechanics that made the gameplay experience better. And they went back and they didn't add those things. And then people are capping. People are making excuses. Well, you know, if they had added the prone and the crouching, it would have fundamentally changed the gameplay, and they would have had to do a whole bunch of new redesigning of the levels and blah, blah. Listen, from the ground up remake means from the ground up remake. I don't want to hear no excuses about, oh, if we do that, then it's not. No. You said from the ground up, meaning you go back and you touch it all. It's just, it's like I said, man, Sony's floundering there. You know, some people will disagree with me, but I'm seeing it. I'm like, how are y'all just letting these fools treat y'all like this? With disrespect, they're wasting your time and money, and they expect you to spend $70 on a remaster. That's what it is. I call it a remake light or a remake like. It's a remake light, but I'll call it a remaster because that's all they're doing. They're making the graphics prettier without really touching the core gameplay. And people are saying, well, we'll see what the gameplay is like when it comes out. It's going to be like how it was. That's how it's going to be. You know, it's going to be beautiful, but the gameplay is going to... It's so frustrating. And listen, all of y'all ponies out there, Donkey Unicorns, Sony fans, boys and girls, do not allow Sony to continue to get away with these shenanigans. Vote with your wallet. Vote with your review scores. You know what I'm saying? All you reviewers out there, you influencers out there. You seeing that they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Charge us $70. Look, this would not be an issue if the game was like $40. $39.99, let's go. Even $49.99, still be okay. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about being cheap or whatever. It's a remake. It's not a brand new game. They're treating it like a brand new game. I'm like, God, nah, that's not. But anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out. This is my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. Go in the comments, like I say. Always go in the comments, dig in the comments. Let me know what you think. You know, make fun of me. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. I love all the discord, all the discourse and such. You know, and you know, I'll check y'all on the next one. Till the way.